Hi guys. Got a few things to go over here. So Blizzard did their AMA. They didn't answer any of the questions that should have been asked, but let's just forget that half the fucking the community is retarded. That's the easiest way to say it. A lot of the questions were well framed. The question about the Azerite system, definitely, but of course we got the non-answer response. Guys, at this point, I don't think beta testing is really any good. So, a few things have happened this week. First, I talked to somebody and they asked why Master Looter was removed, and I'm like, oh, well, they wanted to protect people because apparently in a guild, when you have to have like 16 people out of 20 in the guild, that creates too many opportunities for ninjaing. And they linked me a video of this old guy throwing fucking Pug Rage or some shit. I can't remember the title of it, but it's video in ICC. And the dude's constantly going on about an axe and saying that he was ninja'd. And one guy who is not the raid leader, it is very important to note that the guy arguing with him in the video is not the raid leader. He starts saying, yeah, well, you didn't pull enough DPS, blah, blah, blah. Lady comes in and confirms that, yes, you needed to pull 8k DPS in order to get the loot. And the guy's like, oh, you can't pull 8k DPS. You fucking people can't do 8k DPS. And then someone's like, yeah, only 2 people did over 8k DPS in the entire raid. So I didn't raid in Wrath of the Lich King. I didn't even play the game. But I'm fairly certain that 8k DPS is pretty low for ICC. Especially when we get to the comments. Now, what happens in the video is the dude keeps going on and arguing with the guy, and the old man is just a giant dick, and the young kid is doing, the girl's like, hey, let's stop arguing. He's not going to give you the axe. Like, oh, fuck you. Starts bitching at the girl. It's like, okay, you don't need to bitch at the girl at that point, right? And then the raid leader comes in. He's like, I said 3 times that you had a DPS requirement. After the girl's like, yeah, he said there was a DPS requirement. I'm not getting any loot. That's okay. And it's like, oh, no, he didn't say that. Fuck you. You ninja'd me. Give me the axe. Give me the axe. You're not going to get it, right? If you say, give me the axe the first time and they don't give it to you, they're not going to give it to you the 100th time that you ask. You are more likely just going to be muted and removed. And if you go into the comments section, more people are defending the old man than anyone else, which is kind of strange. Because, personally, I found that system fair. Especially when you take into account that the DPS requirement for loot was really low. So, what this means is that all these people are like, oh yeah, the old man's right. The old man fucking roasted these people. Oh, you're all ninjas. Like, guys, he wasn't ninja'd. The loot rules were stated. Also, when my hair's like this, it's not really because it's dirty. Other than, yeah, I basically just got home. Played a little bit of WoW tonight. Gonna take a shower and go to bed. But anyways, just thought I'd mention that for like one of the 2 people that watch these. And I saw these comments, man. It's like, you guys don't understand. That's not a ninja. The loot rules were stated. People were like, oh, they can't do DPS if they don't have the gear. It's like, no. Now there's an instance where that kind of makes sense, but it's not in a DPS thing, right? That's in the sense of looking for more, like, old deer must have ahead of the curve. And it's like, okay, you can't get ahead of the curve if you're not invited until you have it. I think on day 1 of Baradin Hold, people were asking for the achievement. It's like link achievement for invite. It's like, really? Nowadays we kind of have that. I mean, it's probably just as bad, but I'm in a guild and I only raid twice a week. So, fuck it. And they're, like, the people in these comments are just defending the old guy, calling this guild a ninja. It's like, it's, one, it's a pug. Okay, two, they stated the loot rules clearly. People were saying, oh, they didn't state loot rules. Yes, they did. The healer, or whoever the fuck the chick was saying, yeah, hey, they stated it. The raid leader came in, it's like, hey, I stated 3 times. And you still have people saying, oh, they didn't state it, they're ninjas. Like, dude, no, they stated it. There's people that were in the group that said they stated it. What the fuck are you talking about? They didn't tell anyone the loot rules and they're ninja. No, that's not how that worked. Right? I've been ninja looted before. Albeit, to be fair, when I did it, I wouldn't call it ninja looting because one guy got like 6 pieces of gear already through the raid, and I figured, you know what? I'll give the tier to the like fucking new tank who hasn't gotten shit. So, anyways, there's that, and that made me realize we are never getting Master Looter back. Ooh, my phone is 10 kinds of weird. We are never getting Master Looter back, simply because that's what those people are like. Which is a sad, sad state of affairs. And yeah, I don't know what to say to that. So, next, on to the wonderful world that is my raid this week. I was able to experience it without lag. I gotta mention a few things here. So let's do a little bit of a review now that I've experienced these bosses without lag. First boss, easy as shit. Second boss, only really difficult part is getting people to go through at the same time as making sure the healers work. Third boss, I think we did Devourer third. It's okay, simple tank and spank. I was healing, kick weaving worked. Fourth boss, Vectis. Vectis was shit, and this actually came into a point where it wasn't just shit because of the fight, right? Because overall the fight is really simple, but when you get people that try to make it more difficult, that's not good. And when you get people that kind of, yeah, no, it's just not good. I liked the fight. I did get to DPS and heal it. We killed it while I was healing it. In fact, our kill was pretty clean. We did use Vantis runes, and that was a crutch we shouldn't have needed, but at the same time, I'm happy we took it. It got us through the fight. I don't think we'll need it next week. I think versus right, it's like, we won't need it if people do the mechanics right, which, for the most part, on that final pull, they kind of were, but they weren't, because we saw people get, like, double stacks really, like, often, but people did the rest, right? So, for phase 1, it's basically just fucking move away from the ingest thing. If you're a human and you get stunned with it, pop out and kill the thing. For phase 2, absorb bombs. There is no reason why a bomb should not be absorbed. That bomb should not be out there. The bomb should just be gone, right? But that didn't happen. A few pulls we got ads spawning, and I don't think people understood how bad those ads hurt. They don't do a lot of damage or hit like a truck. The biggest thing about those ads is the healing absorb, which 16,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when it's the entire raid, especially the tanks on that fight. I want to say I started off AoE healing. Then I tried focusing the tanks a bit, but I ended by switching up my playstyle to the tank sitting build. And I'm going to say this one thing really quick. It's a quick little rant. I do not get along with the Holy Paladins. Right? There was one Holy Paladin that we fucking played with for a short amount of time. Corinth or whatever the fuck his name is. And of course, the other one's fine. But the one in Legion, Van, was just a douche. Right? He was a total dick. Because he had this ego about him. Oh, I raided the Mythic Blackrock Foundry. And I killed, like, 4 bosses. So I'm a pretty big deal. He had a huge ego in fucking Legion, where at one point he even told our healers, like, okay guys, I'm gonna focus the tank, hopefully you can deal with raid healing. And I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck? And we kind of had that happen this week, where our Holy Paladin was complaining about covering the tank and the raid, and I told him, and this is just a passing comment that kind of pissed me off, right? It pissed me off. I'm not trying to be a dick here, but this is my personal feeling. He pissed me off when he said, because I told him, it's like, it's okay, man. You focus on raid healing. I'll do tank healing. I'm not really much of a healer anyways, right? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And so I told him, it's like, hey, just focus on raid healing and I'll do tanks then. And he's like, oh no, then they'll die. They'll die? They'll die? Motherfucker, I healed Mother, I healed Fetid Devourer, and every single pull of fucking Vectis, I out-healed you. Fucking flies in Iowa, I swear. So don't tell me, right? Don't tell me that the tanks will die if someone who's doing more overall healing and less over-healing heals them. Because that's not how it works. I even looked on details and like, so the tanks, when I'm not tank sitting, they were 25% and 22% of my heals. And the Holy Paladin had it at 16% and 12%. It's like, you're not focusing the tanks. It's like, oh, tanks call out for a cooldown if you need it. It's like, you don't need to do that. The tanks will take expected damage, right? So the idea is that they take 2 stacks of the tank thing, and over the fight, they have more stacks. So eventually, like, my life cocoon is a really big thing. So that's when you want to start popping cooldowns. You don't really need to worry about Versa too much, but Muta will spike a little bit in health. And I did not fucking like it when he's like, oh yeah, no, they'll die. It's like, dude, I'm a better healer than you at this point. And then, of course, we have the wonderful Miss Asti telling him that he's wrong, telling him that he should listen to the paladin that has more experience. And then it became like a fucking pissing contest where it's like, yeah, well, I'm in a mythic group too. I'm just trying to balance between covering for a Resto Druid. And it's like, okay, stop. I don't want to hear fucking Raid Mom and this healer get into it over whether or not he's experienced. Okay, he is probably our weakest healer. That's fine. He doesn't understand. It's like, hey, if you're tank healing, if your role as a Holy Paladin is tank healing, use double beacon. The other beacon doesn't provide anything for tank healing. You need double beacon. If you are worried about raid heals, in a raid with a Holy Paladin and a Resto Shaman and a Mistweaver Monk who has the setup where Rising Sun Kick heals, yeah, no, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Right? So that's one thing that definitely fucking pissed me off, is like the little fucking ego that goes there. But we killed it after about 10, 15 wipes, something like that. We wiped a lot on it, but once we changed up the strat, literally the pull that we changed up our strat, we killed it. and it was a really clean kill. Of course, we did have Vantis runes, but still, we couldn't have done it if it had spawned more often than not. It's fine. The 5% increase was needed. We killed it. People got some good gear out of it. I'm not one of them, but still some people did. Then we went to Zekvaz, and apparently last week when I fucking lagged so much I just couldn't heal or do anything, they decided to try this boss, and it sounded like it was deadly. And looking in the dungeon journal, because I'll tell you right now, I haven't looked up any videos, and I do not plan on looking up any videos, especially as I am the role of a healer half the time. There are very few things that I really need to look up. I can just look in the dungeon journal and be like, oh, I shouldn't get hit by this. Plus, there's always an explanation at the beginning of the fight anyways. I just want to see them all once without spoilers. After we clear normal, I'll look up videos. Even though we won't need them at that point. So, we go to Zekvaz, and it's like, oh, ads are a thing. It's like, okay, ads, then there's this ball, and it's like, oh, once you get hit by this ball, you're gonna die. It's sacrifice. Like, oh, God, it's like Archimonde. And the funny thing is, Vectis was a lot like killed Jaden, where for a certain amount of time you couldn't really do anything. You just kind of like hit shit, or like you let shit hit you. And I don't think people understood that to an extent, because it's like, hey guys, nobody has super high stacks. If you see a bomb, stand in it, because you're literally not doing anything else at that point in the fight. You are literally doing nothing else at all in any way, shape, or form. If an ad spawns, we're fucked. So it's like, okay, these ads are going to spawn. They're going to be a big thing. I discovered at this point in mid-poll that Spearhand Strike is no longer the Mistweaver Monk, like usable by a Mistweaver Monk, which made me sad. So, Ring of Peace. But by the way, Ring of Peace in this fucking raid is awesome. It works on everything. So, we pull it. Ads are spawning. People are killing ads. And we one-shot it. The best part is, Rod got mind controlled first, and he just got annihilated in 2 seconds. Turns out, you don't die in normal. You just need to take enough damage, which was interesting. In Heroic, you'll die, but I mean, if we're able to fucking execute those mechanics in Heroic, we'll be fine. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I didn't even find healing stressful in that fight. I mostly just like kind of babysat some health bars. It's like, oh no, you're dipping low. Okay, I'll heal you. There's a lot of avoidable damage, and as long as you take care of the ads, you're fine, which we did. Might also be due to one of the co-leads saying, hey, if you don't switch to an ad, you're kicked. So that might have been it. I'm ready for next week. Next week I see us at least pulling Zool. But with how quickly we killed shit, I think we'll be fine. If we go to Vectis last, I will be so happy. Because we have more gear, we have experience with the kill, it's good. Normally with this raid team, after you kill something once, you're good for a long fucking time. So I liked it, but again, the Holy Paladin just, oh my god. I need to get goddamn bug zapper. Just this one fly too. So anyways, longer video than I expected. But my god, like, I'm happy that I'm getting healing gear. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm starting to gear up a little more for healing. But Jesus Christ, man, that Holy Paladin. Actually, interesting thing. When I first thought about making some Vantis runes, I figured me, the Shaman, the Priest, and 3 DPS. Because the tanks were fine. The healers could definitely use some extra throughput. We needed more DPS for the ads, and I'm not wasting wasn't wasting a Vantis rune on that fucking paladin. I might pop a Vantis rune on Zool next week. I don't see a problem with using it if we get to a certain point in the fight. So this is a longer video than I really wanted, but I think it got the point across. So overall, I'm liking Uldir. Really like the team makeup. It's interesting seeing Rosie on a demon hunter instead of a regular hunter. And the healing team, pretty solid. I think the Holy Paladin's going to improve a lot. That or I'm going to become an alcoholic on Raid Night.